Hi class, today we are going to talk about target market. And target market specifically is a particular group of customers or consumers at which your product or your service for your business is aimed. Understanding this is the key to survival in small business, because if you don't understand who your target market is and how to market your product to them and how to give them a product that they desire and will purchase, your business will not be successful. So understanding your target customer is key. For this, I'm going to start off with just a couple of quick video clips here. I've got one, and it just introduces this a bar called Pirates Tavern. I'm going to go ahead and play the beginning of that clip for you. Let me go ahead and share that screen. All right.
Fixing bars is easy. Fixing people is tough.
Sundays on Spike, the hit show Bar Rescue is back for another run. And on the season premiere, John Teffer faces his toughest challenge ever. It's a bar.
Pirates isn't working. You think it's funny?
I'm done with this.
Are you ashamed of the food that we serve?
What is good?
Your food is the worst I've ever seen.
It's a fire bar. You don't like it?
I'm realizing I might not be able to fix this bar.
Okay, so that was just a quick clip about Pirates Tavern. If you haven't seen that show before, Bar Rescue is a show where he goes into bars that are struggling and analyzes them and tries to help them improve, so that they can get back to being successful. In that case, it was just a very quick clip. It showed Pirates Tavern, which is a pirate themed bar. And they were pretty much saying, if you don't like pirates, too bad. If you ever get a chance to watch this whole episode, it's quite interesting. But in summary, John Taffer, the bar rescue guy, changes their bar into a more corporate themed bar. And because they were in kind of an area of town where they had a lot of business people having lunch, and so they made it more of a corporate themed bar. And pretty much right after he left, the Pirates Tavern folks turned it right back into a pirate bar. And then they weren't doing well again. And they actually called in for a second rescue. And anyway, I don't believe they're in business anymore. But it's kind of an interesting idea here, is that they wanted to have a pirate bar no matter what. They did not care what their target market was. No matter what, they were going to have one. And, the thing about that is if you want to have a pirate bar, you need to be in an area, a location where your target market are some folks that would appeal to and make sense for. I'm going to play this clip here, which is also about Pirates Tavern. But this clip is interesting because it's not part of the show. Somebody went back and, tried to see what was going on at the Pirates Tavern. And you can see what they found out regarding the target market here. So let me go ahead and share that. Video here. Here we go.
In front of Pirates Tavern. It is about 1 o'clock on a Friday afternoon. We're looking at the bar that was featured on the Bar Rescue show. And you can see there's a lot of traffic here. Now, one of the criticisms that Taffer said was that this bar actually opens up at 4 o'clock in the business district. Look at all this traffic here that they're traffic up. This bar actually opens up at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and it closes around midnight or 1 a.m., depending on the day of the week. But the kitchen closes at 9. So let's take a look at some of the other restaurants right across the street here. And let's see what they're operating at with us. There's a Indian cuisine place. Open Monday through Friday, they open up at 11:30 in the morning. Saturday, they open up at 12. Let's go to this Chinese restaurant across the street here. Chinese restaurant. They open up at, look at that.
Okay, so you can see here, they're researching what the surrounding restaurants are doing, and they're looking at traffic patterns and seeing that this part of town in particular is quite busy, you know, around the lunch hour, not making sense that they're not opening until 4. When Taffer was there, you know, he was saying there was a lunch crowd. You need to have, you know, lunch for the business folks in that part of town. Anyway, they didn't follow their advice, and you can see the other restaurants are open for lunch. One thing that you'll see in future classes is we will get a chance to look at competition as well. For now, we'll go ahead and concentrate on our target market, and again, determine who are the folks that are going to be purchasing our products. And within that, your goal is, once you've got this market that you're targeting here, your goal is to find a market niche. That's an opportunity to provide a product or service that no other company provides. So you can see in that previous video, there was a Chinese restaurant and an Indian restaurant. You know, maybe you need to have a restaurant that has a different type of food, you know, so that might be your niche, something different and unique. Maybe it's okay to have several restaurants of the same type, as long as there's enough target market to support all of those restaurants. Okay, so developing long-term relationships and community is essential. You know, when you have longevity as far as like people coming back, if they had maybe that lunch where business people could come and relax and have a yummy lunch, maybe they would come there every Monday, or, you know, have their meetings there. You know, any of those kinds of things where you can have repeat customers, long-term relationships when you provide good service, and being part of your community and a positive part of your community is essential. What can we learn from published sources? So we're going to go ahead and look at some different sources of information we can use to help analyze our target market for our business idea, and for you to look at it, to write the target market portion of your paper that will be due. So for many businesses, print media will be an important part of the promotion mix. What we mean by that is media sources have conducted extensive research to develop what we call demographic and psychographic profiles of their target customers. So media sources, you know the age groups, they know the habits of consumers. They have done extensive research to develop profiles of their target customers. And so the media, reviewing the media, even if you can't afford to advertise due to costs, you can keep an eye on competitors in your target market mix. So for example, you know, when advertisers advertise, let's say during the Super Bowl or something like that, the media sources, let's say Fox or NBC or whoever is playing the Super Bowl, you know, they have conducted extensive research. They know exactly what, you know, the most common age groups are that are watching the Super Bowl, and what their income levels are and what their hobbies are. They kind of know all of that. And so when they sell ads to businesses, the businesses know that. And if that's their target market, they're going to purchase that. But again, small businesses can't always afford Super Bowl ads, but looking at the media information, even if you can't afford to advertise, you can keep an eye on your competitors and your target market. And we're going to call it a target market kit. We'll look at some examples here of some kits that will be helpful. So let me go ahead and show these to you. Let me make sure I'm sharing this with you. Okay, and I got, there we go. 15 best media kit examples. What I'm going to be doing in the presentation is just showing you all kinds of different places you can go for information. I don't expect you to use every single one of these. A lot of these are just examples of different information that's available out there. This here is 15 best media kit examples for inspiration. I'm going to go ahead and go down here to one of the examples here. You can see this news BTC. What they do is this place, if you read through it, who are we? They cover Bitcoin news, technical analysis, and forecasts for Bitcoin and other altcoins. So you can see they're kind of a news source for this. And to your target audience, if you were to advertise with them, you know, it is involved in this type of, you know, in Bitcoin items. But you can see their site statistics. It shows they have 3 million unique visitors each month. Let's see what else. We have 21,000 Facebook followers, 37,000 Twitter followers. And then they give you the services they have. So that's an example of a media kit. Let's see here. Let me look and see. Here's the Weekly Standard. They have, here they show you their breakout of stuff here. I'm just quickly going over some of these, but you can look over them more if you'd like. Metropolitan Organizing, you can see here, she's got her profile here. So if you were to buy ad space here, you can kind of see the type of visitors and the number of visitors and fans that she has. And with all of these, you can view and download their media kits. All right. Okay. So those are just 15 examples there if you want to look at all of those. And that's kind of what you would want to look at if you're looking at spending money for an ad. Maybe look at, you know, who are their, let's say you were going to go to the Daily Historian. Who are their readers? You know, what average age are the readers? You know, those kinds of things. Based on what you know, continue to profile your target customer using, there we go. Any kind of different statistics you can find. So some examples are census is a big one. There's some other examples here too. I'm going to go ahead and show you the census one. Make sure that I'm sharing this with you here. Okay, so here's the census information. This is very local census information. It shows about our labor market. You know, again, all of this information you can use. Some of it will be more useful than others. Some of it, you know, you're kind of just looking at it to get a bigger picture. This here is the labor market information for Northwest Oregon, which is Benton, Clatsop, Columbia, Lincoln, and Tillamook counties for December 2020. And it just shows like the unemployment rate. Now that could be important because if you have a product that is, let's say, a luxury product and a lot of people are unemployed, they may not have money to be purchasing your product. That's something to think about. Now that's not directly related to target market, but it's definitely something to keep in mind. In past years, the unemployment's been really low, and something you have to think about is, are you going to be able to get a labor pool for your business if you're going to need to be hiring people? So anyway, those are just some census type data we can look at. Let me go ahead and share back to the presentation here. I'm going to go ahead and look at some other information sources because that one in and by itself isn't super handy when trying to look at target market. This one here is the State of Oregon Unemployment Department. This one's kind of interesting because again, it's got our unemployment rate here. This one's as of November 2020. And it just gives a little bit of a breakout there, but there's some other areas you can go to for data. Again, not all of this is target market related, but you know, employment and wages by industry could be important. If you're hiring people, you can kind of see what wages are out there. And so there's all different kinds of like publications and economic data you can get here. There we go. You know, here's one here. I went ahead to economic data and I clicked on, oh, yeah, just economic data. And this here shows per capita personal income in Oregon's counties. That's something to think about. Again, as you're selling a product, are people going to have the money to be able to afford your product? And so this one here breaks out kind of the income in the different counties. You can see our 3 city counties here, the Portland area, are higher than our other counties. So that's something to keep in mind. And with your target market, are you targeting like higher income folks? Well, that might be harder to do if you don't have higher income people in that area. So all things to keep in mind. I'm going to go ahead and share back to our presentation here. Again, these are all just various sources you can look at. Some of it may be useful in determining your target market. Some of it may not. Some of them might be useful in future areas of your business plan. All right, and this one, I think you'll find the most helpful out of these first 3 sites, and that's the census at the federal government level. Let me make sure I'm sharing that with you. There we go. This here is the US Census Bureau website, and you can, this here is the quick facts for Astoria, but you can enter in any town here and specifically look for a fact, or I just went ahead and pulled up all topics here. So I pulled up all topics for Astoria, and it gives you, you know, all kinds of census information that could be important. Let's say you have a product that's going to appeal to retired folks. Well, you got to make sure that you have a big enough pocket of population that's in that age group to be able to sell your product to. So you can see our persons over 65 is 20.2%. You know, let's say your product is geared towards females. Well, you need to have, you know, females available to purchase the product. You know, our town is pretty evenly split, it looks like here, but there are some towns that are not. You got to consider all this when you consider, which we'll talk about later this week in chapter 6, the location of your company. But for now, we're concentrating on target market. And again, when you're determining your target market, it's helpful to look at the breakout of your population here. So this is really kind of neat. It breaks out, you know, how many people, you know, are homeowners and what's the average amount of rent, and just a lot of interesting information here that could be of use in making your decision about your target market. All right. Some other places to go, and some of these charge money. So I'm going to show them to you, and you're probably not going to use them directly for class. But if you decide to go further with your business plan and want to do further research, these other places are good places to go. One is marketresearch.com. I'll go ahead and show you that one and share that with you. Here you see this. This one here, pretty much you have to pay for what you're going to want, but you can pretty much buy the buy research from them. They'll do some market research on your behalf. Okay. Another one is Experian. So I'll go ahead and share that one with you. Oops. This one is Experian. They also do market research for you, so they can research your target market for you. Again, you pay for this service. Here's another one, EASI Demographics. Let's go to that one and see what we have there. This one here, you can, again, you purchase the service that you want, the types of reports or the reporting abilities that you want to have. So you can see here, location and trend analysis, market analysis, are all some different things you can do here. So I show you these just to give you the idea of, you can pay an outside firm to do market research for you to help determine your target market. For our class, and we're concentrating on small business and looking into doing a business plan, we're going to concentrate on using our free information sources. And so I've given some of those up top there. Another thing to mention is to profile your B2B. B means your business to business customers. So my company of Moha's Bookkeeping, sometimes it's kind of like business to business customers because you're actually selling to another business, not to an individual consumer. There's these other sources you can use to gather research on businesses as your customers rather than individuals as your customers. All right, and I have a survey that I created for my business that we are going to have as part of your assignment this week, is going to be to complete my survey and turn it in so that I can compile the results for my market research. But also it's going to give you, an example of a survey, and I'm going to have you write 5 or more questions on a survey that you would write to maybe be able to find out more information about your target customers. So let me go ahead and share with you my survey here, which is in class and part of your assignment this week. I want everybody to take this survey. And what you're going to use for your business name is the business name you picked for your business that you are writing your business plan for. So pretend like you have that business right now and you're looking at your bookkeeping services. I want you to take that perspective that you have a business right now and I'm surveying you. How do you plan to do accounting for your business? Are you going to hire a bookkeeper, CPA, outside firm? And I want you to answer all of these questions for me, and I'm going to compile the results. But then also as part of your assignment, I want you to come up with your own survey for your own business. What kind of survey questions might you ask that could help you get more information about your target market? For a lot of you, your target market is not going to be a business, so you probably don't need that business name up there. But you might ask, like, what are your hobbies, or things that you would want to know about your target market. So maybe you wouldn't actually ask them in a survey, but maybe you want to know, like, what's your average annual income range, or what else might you want to know about them in order to better know who your target market is and how to target your product to them. So again, I've got a survey example here. There really aren't right or wrong answers to it, but you do want to have questions that are going to help you, again, find out who your target market is and find out a little bit more about your target market customers. So take this survey, write 5 survey questions of your own. That's going to be one of your assignments this week. And that will help prep you for writing the second portion of your business plan, which is all about your target market. And that is, your second assignment for this week. So you will do the survey portion of the assignment, and then you're going to write the target market, a draft of your target market portion of your business plan this week. And also to help you write that target market portion of your business plan, we have our discussion for this week as well. I'll talk about that more in a minute. So again, I showed you the survey. The survey you could do in many different ways. You could, be on the side of the road and hand it to people. In the case of the Mohawk's accounting, or bookkeeping, it would probably be best if I just literally went to some small businesses and said, hey, would you take my survey? That might be one way to do it. I've been in shopping malls before where they stop you and say, hey, if I give you a $5 gift card, will you fill out a survey? You can also try and survey people's habits by observing. That's one way to gather information, is observe people's buying behaviors. Another one might be to scope out the competition and see what kind of customers, find a similar business that you want to open and go in there and see what kind of customers and people are going in there, see what kind of folks are making purchases, see how big their purchases are, look at some of their habits there. Another way to do surveys is I sometimes read news articles, and before it lets you read the article, it'll pop up a survey question like, where do you prefer to work out? At home, in a gym, and so if you pay some of these folks to do your market research for you, that's one way they might come up with a way to get information is, before you can read an article, you have to answer the survey question. So there's different ways of getting this information. I talked about observation. That's probably the cheapest way to do it, is to just observe, because otherwise surveys, you have to give that incentive to take it, which can be hard to have people want to give up their time to take your survey without other added incentive, like giving them access to an article or a gift card. All right, so observing your customer in the marketplace. Again, you can just take notes and observe. You could try and get people that are willing to let you interview them. And for that, you develop questions in advance, kind of like your survey questions. You want questions that are going to give you information, not just like yes or no type questions. You keep an open mind. You don't want them to try, you don't want to try and lead them to the path you want to see. You want to really get objective information and see what to really get information on your target market. And then you could consider doing research online. Again, post a question up on Facebook. I've seen that tons of times. And for some reason, people seem a little bit more willing to just answer those kind of questions like, hey, if we got a new bus route from Astoria to Napa, how many people would ride that bus? Just questions like that on social networks. Also, there's things like SurveyMonkey where you can make your own little survey, and they kind of have a free service that is limited, but you can use and, send out to people. You can literally walk up to people, message people, any of that, any way that you can get information. Some other target market resources. I'll go ahead and open this one. There we go. I didn't want to open there at first. Let me go ahead and make sure I'm sharing that. Market research tools to identify your target market. This just gives some other ideas. They have some keyword analyzers, keyword tools. Use Google to identify your top organic search and paid competitors. You can do a Google search and see what comes up. And here's some other ideas on here as well. All right, so we have time. I'm going to go ahead and move over to a couple of the other ideas here. There we go. And this is just another article on, some ideas on how to find your target market. There we go. That one's taking a minute to load. Or possibly it's my screen. There we go. Here we go. Yeah, there we are. How to find your target market. Here's some different, they mentioned the US Census Bureau as one, which we talked about earlier, Google Analytics, Facebook Insights, and again, not everything's free all the time, surveys they mention as well. And then thinking outside the box. It's not always, think of unique ways to come up with information as well. And once you have that information, think of some other ways to make your product useful. Does your product have other uses that are going to create that market niche as well? Okay, so this gives some good ones here. And here, I'm going to make sure I'm sharing what I just clicked on. This was Google Analytics I just shared. This is a popular one. Again, you kind of get into a point where they're going to start charging you, but Google can do data collection for you as well. It does let you start for free if any of you want to try that out. We're probably not quite yet to that part in our project where it'll be super helpful to try that out, but that is there. Let me go ahead and click on our, actually, there we go. Let me go back to sharing our presentation again. There was one more tool here that I'm going to go to. There we are. This is the third one that I have listed in our presentation. It's market analysis tools and how to use them. And again, it's just some more ideas here: observations, surveys, focus groups, and product testing. Anyway, just some more ideas and thoughts there. Again, I don't want to overwhelm you with information, but I wanted to give you some interesting articles and tools to just kind of know about. We're not going to use them all for our project this term, but they might be things you'll go back to when you firm up your plans to start a business, perhaps. All right. All right, so some, and this will help you with your survey that you have for your assignment. A summary of some questions that you might want to answer when you're trying to find your target market. Who are my target customers? That's really the main question there. How can I best reach them? You don't know how you can best reach them unless you know who they are. So that's why it's so important to identify that target customer. What need will my product or service fill? Again, if your target market is 30-year-olds, what kind of needs do they have that need to be filled? And is my product something that will fill the needs for them? Where and how can I communicate my message with a minimum of confusion? What additional services do my target customers want? What quality of service or product will meet my customers' desires? What are they willing to pay? Yeah, those are good questions to ask your target market. If I were to sell this product, how much would you be willing to pay for it? Who else is going to be trying to get to those same customers? Why do my customers act the way they do? Again, not all of these can be survey questions, but they're things that can generate ideas for what you might survey customers about. How can I build a long-term relationship with my customers and encourage them to be raving fans and thus recruit new customers? We talked about, you know, community and long-term relationships. There we go. We need to make sure they are encouraging other people to come to your business and that they are repeat customers. All right, I'm going to go ahead and share now with everybody. Sorry about that. Sometimes the sharing function here doesn't work as well as it should. There we go. Okay, I'm going to share back with you the stuff for this week. Okay, so that was our target market. And for our target market, you're going to have your survey assignment, which there will be a Dropbox here for that in our course. And then also this week, we have a discussion about your target market. This here, the survey assignment and this discussion are there to help you generate the ideas that you'll need for your target market portion of your business plan. And so for this, I want you to, in a couple of sentences, describe who you believe to be your target audience for your product, and then list at least 2 tools or things you're going to try to do to learn about or analyze your target market or service. So are you going to survey people? Are you going to, you know, do research of census data? What are some things you're going to do to try and find out more about your target audience? What's really cool about this discussion is I ask that you make a main post by Thursday and then a reply to a classmate by Sunday. It's good to get that classmate feedback because maybe they don't agree with you on who your target market would be, and maybe they will be able to help you refine that a little bit. So be good about giving feedback to your classmates as well. Or, you know, if you have ideas on ways, on tools they could use to, you know, further hone in on their target market. So here I'm going to go ahead and there's some sources here as well. Oops. And I'll go ahead and share those. And again, they're going to be some of them that I shared from the presentation. So I've just included some of those links for you there, or you can get them from the presentation. And so these will give ideas if you're trying to come up with ideas for what to present. And yeah, so that will be your discussion assignment. There we are. That will be your discussion assignment. And then you have the survey assignment. Those are 2 pretty short assignments, honestly. And then you do need to write up your target market draft of your paper. And I've got more details about that. And then I'm also going to give a short presentation on chapter 6 in a separate video here. And so I'll talk more about that target market portion of your paper there as well. But these should help you get ready for that target market portion draft of your paper. Again, it just needs to be a draft, but you do need to get that part done this week. So your graded items are the discussion posts Thursday and Sunday, your survey assignment, and then your target market draft portion of your business plan. If you have any questions, as always, please let me know. Thanks. Bye-bye.